Oh boy, here we go again. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Chicago public schools going back to virtual learning after returning to in-person classes recently. I'm not really sure when they returned, but they were doing in-person classes. And as of today, which is Wednesday, January 5th, 2022, classes are canceled and are not going to come back at least until January 18th. Now, let's back up a little bit here because there's a whole lot we got to talk about. So let's back up from the beginning. Now, this is a teachers union decision out there in Chicago. They said, you know what? It's too much of this bug raging around, too much of that Omicron in the atmosphere, and we don't feel safe. So we have demands. There's a list. Okay, we want N95 masks or the equivalent to be provided to every teacher and student for every class every single day. Now, if you don't know about N95 masks, these have to be specially fitted to each wearer and to be effective to give you that proper seal without much, quote, air coming in.
They go all the way over your head. Not the most comfortable, but very, very snug. Not a lot of air is getting in between the sides of my cheeks or the tops of my cheeks.
To be effective that way, you have to fit it and change it like every 2 to 3 hours. So the teachers union wanted that to be provided for the teachers and the students. And again, 340,000 kids have been affected by this decision to cancel classes for today up until January 18th at the earliest. So I'm not sure it's going to be really possible. But also they wanted daily tests for everybody that's going to come into the school, teachers and students. Now, as far as the vax, I'm not really sure. I'm not sure how that goes. You know, are they going to do a mandate? That might not be legal. But they want the masks and the tests. They don't just want the cloth masks. They want surgical or N95. These are very expensive and very rare because if you're going to have these masks produced for these kids, I presume every day, every week, I'm not really sure. I think for N95, it's got to be every day and it's got to be changed every 2 to 3 hours. That's going to be very expensive. So they want all these things because they're afraid of the bug. I think at least one or more teachers had died in Chicago because of the bug. Not really sure where they caught it. Not really sure if they were 5,000 pounds or not, but that's a different story. And I digress. The whole point is that they're saying we're not safe because of X, Y, and Z, the Omicron, basically. Now, my question is this. Okay, why is it only Chicago that has these demands? Why is it that you don't have teachers just dropping dead all over the country because of the Omicron? It's everywhere, ain't it? It's everywhere. It's not like it's not only in Cook County, Illinois. It's all over the whole world and definitely all over the whole of the United States. So why is Cook County, Illinois, Chicago, why are they somehow exempt from being the same as everybody else? Why is their caseload exceptional? I don't think that it is. I think this is an excuse to not come back to the classroom and to do virtual only. Okay, because I'm going to say a few things that may be popular, may be unpopular. It doesn't really matter. It's just my personal opinion. Now, the point of school is there's two main things that you do when you send your kids to public school, K through 12. First of all, you're trying to get them to get an education. Now, a lot of times, unfortunately, that's not really happening because a lot of these kids, they graduate high school, 18 years old, and can't read at all. Okay, C-Spot Run is a challenge. To them, C-Spot Run is like reading War and Peace. It just ain't going to happen, okay? They can't read at high school like 18 years old. So a lot of times the system is failing. And I'm not just going to say it's the system as far as the teachers and the administrators and whatnot, the unions. I'm talking about the parents too. If the parents don't care and the kid goes to school at age 5 or 6 for the first time and can't even write his own name, can't color at all, he's pretty much, it's going to be a wrap. You know, there is certain cases where you might be able to kind of, but for the most part, that's going to continue throughout his career in school, and he'll be the kid that can't read C-Spot Run at age 18. That's usually how that goes. But it's got to be, you know, it's got to be the parents are doing right as well as the school system. In this case, people want to send their kids to school to get an education first. The second thing is you got to have somewhere for these kids to be where the parents are at work or whether it's a single mama at work, single dad at work, or two parents at work. Because here's the whole thing. Here's the way society is set up. People can say it's right. People can say it's wrong, but it's just the way it is. You generally need two incomes in a household to have a decent way of life. Generally. Not all the time. It all depends upon what you do. If you are a parent with a lot of money and you don't need a second income, then great. Bravo. Hats off to you. You did a great job. Or you may not be a parent with a lot of money, but you may be able to manage your money properly to where you only need one income. That's okay too. Because when I was a little kid, I mean, my mom didn't work and my dad worked at a hardware store. This is back in the 80s though. Can you do that right now in 2022? Especially in Chicago, Illinois? I'm not really sure about that, but I digress. The whole point is that you may live in an area where it's possible to not have a really high income, but to live off one income. But for most people, you need to have two incomes. 75% of mothers in the United States work. 75% of mothers. It was not like that before feminism and, oh, I'm equal, all this, that, and the third. It wasn't like that before then, but now it's different. So these kids have to go to school, because if they aren't in school, then who's going to watch these kids? If a parent can't go to work and they got to come home and take care of the kid, that's going to be a dramatic decrease in the income. Therefore, a dramatic decrease in the quality of living. And if you are a single parent, what are you going to do? You have to go to work. You got to be able to make money, because there's nobody else to take care of the kid, let alone to help educate the kid. And that's my next thing about the education part. If you're doing at-home learning, the virtual learning thing, why would I pay for that? Now, some are going to say, well, it's public school ABLs, K through 12 is free. No, it's not. I'm still paying tax money. I don't even have any kids, and I'm paying tax money to send kids to school, K through 12 in public. So why should anybody pay taxes? If you're not going to be at the actual school, then what am I paying for? It's just like kids going to college and they have all virtual classes because in-person learning is shut down because of the bug. Well, can I get a discount on my tuition or nah? You got some kids, I would presume, that are paying out-of-state tuition to be taught virtual. How does it make any sense at all? Okay, I'm not actually at the school. I'm at home. All right, let's say I want to go to UCLA, but since they shut down and everything's virtual, I'm at home in Kentucky and I got to pay out-of-state tuition to UCLA to get taught at home in Kentucky on the computer screen with no actual person-to-person contact with my classmates or my administrator, my teachers, or nothing. It doesn't make any sense. So it's kind of at a certain point, it's kind of a scam. I'm being robbed of my tax money for a particular item that I'm not getting. That's just not right. So if it's going to be like that, if we're going to do virtual learning, then really I should have the option to opt out of school and to do homeschool, because I got to be at the house anyway. I may as well teach the kid, right? And if I do that, then I could take my tax money away and put it in my own pocket. I've heard about plans like that where they give you vouchers, certain amount of money. So rather than the $10,000 or $15,000 going to the school to educate your kids at home virtual, get the money to me. And then I'll put that into the household and educate the kids. Because a lot of times once you look at the expenses and whatnot from a parent going to work versus staying at home and raising the kids, it might equal up to what each kid is getting. Well, each kid generates from the government as far as money that goes to the school. You see what I'm saying? So prime example, let's say a mom makes like $35,000 and there's a two-parent household. The dad making like 50, she's making 35, so 85 total. Well, she might want to stay home and take the extra 15, maybe do a part-time thing at night to equal up to almost 35, if she's able to generate the money she was making and stay at home to help educate her kids. That might make sense, but the way it is right now makes no sense. The way society is set up, it doesn't make any sense for these kids to stay at home and look at a computer screen and be paying money for that. You got all types of videos on YouTube for free that you can watch as a teaching aid to help educate these kids. And again, a lot of these kids can't even read by the time they get to be 18 years old. So I think this is going to be kind of an interesting moment what they call it, a watershed moment. This is going to be a moment where we decide, how are we going to go forward here as a country? Are we going to continue with the K through 12 education system, although it has serious problems? Before all the stuff with the bug and the Omarion or whatever, and this crazy stuff with the teachers unions not wanting to go to school, but they're going on Tinder dates and they're going to the grocery store and they're going to concerts, drinking and drugging and thugging. They're doing all these different things. We see that it's falling apart. Americans might say, you know what we're doing right now is not working. It's just not. Having free college would be the exact same way, because the government money is guaranteed is going to be there. So they have less of an incentive to actually perform to get that money. And then on top of that, you got these ridiculous teachers out there, these TikTok teachers, okay, talking to your kids that are like 5 and 6 years old about transgender issues, ridiculous things that no kids should be introduced to. It don't matter if it's gay or straight, no sexuality should be introduced to these kids. You got all that going on. It might be a time to think about something else. And I'm seeing homeschool just shoot through the roof. Private school to a certain extent, but definitely homeschool. You got so many kids going to homeschool in certain parts of the country. As I close, you have whole sports teams. Shout out to Erica Williams. You got whole sports teams of homeschool kids that compete against public and private school kids. That's how crazy it is right now. And that trend is going to continue as long as we got teachers that don't want to come to class. Okay. If you don't want to come to class, if you want to be at home, all right. But how long is that going to last? And if you continue to do that, let's do something else to react to it rather than just taking it. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about what's happening here with Chicago public schools and the teachers union? Should they be allowed to just stay home and conduct class from their virtual learning? Is that the way of the future? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys pretty much know where I stand. I look at it from an economic point of view. First of all, if I'm paying my tax money to Chicago, Cook County, or wherever I live, and I'm not getting what I pay for, then I should be able to get a refund. If I go to Pizza Hut and I order a large pizza and I go to pick up my pizza and they try to show me a pizza on YouTube, it's like, well, this ain't what I ordered. I want pizza right now. I want pizza hot, ready to consume. If you're going to show me a video of it, then what's the point of me paying you the money? Give me the money back and then I'll go do something else with the money. Don't take my money that I give you for one thing and then give me something else in return. Society, quite frankly, is not set up this way to have all these kids being at home. Society in America is generally set up for kids to go to public school. We pay money for it. We've been paying for a long time. We're invested into it. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. But let's go a different direction. And we got to start right now because we're already too late. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.